Sales Letter Creator Demo. Okay, in this video, we're actually going to pull up the Sales Letter Creator at NPC, and we're going to use this powerful piece of software to create a sales letter. I'll show you how it works and how you can use it to create a sales letter for your niche product very, very quickly and easily, again, without having to know any copywriting. To get to this page, by the way, simply go to the Tools menu and then click on Sales Letter Creator in the drop-down. Okay, the first step once you get to the page is to click on Create New Project. And I'm going to name this project Sales, let's call it Beta Fish Lovers Sales Letter. I'm being asked now if I'd like to use the wizard, and my answer is yes, I would like to use the wizard. The wizard will make it easier and faster for you to create your sales letter if you've never created one before. You could select no if you've done this before and used this software before and you want to just skip the wizard, that's an option. But for now, let's go ahead and leave yes checked. Next, we want to assign our project to the domain that we're working on. In this case, I'm working on my domain betafishlovers.com, so I'll select that and then click submit. And the software will go to work creating my letter. Now, I'm being asked to select my template. You can see that there's 4 steps. Step 1 is template selection. Step 2 is the wizard itself, where you're going to be actually creating your letter, writing the actual content for your letter. Step 3 is final touches, where you can put some final touches on your letter. And then step 4 is publish. So let's go back to step 1 and select our template. Now, it's a good idea at this stage to choose a color scheme that matches the one that you chose for your opt-in page when you created your opt-in page earlier in this course. So the color that I chose was this light blue, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to select it. You can see a border goes around it indicating that it's been selected, and now I'll click Get Started. And that will launch me into step 2, which is the wizard itself. The Sales Letter Wizard functions nearly identically to that of the opt-in page wizard, which we've already used in depth earlier in this course. So if you used that software and created your opt-in page, then you'll have no trouble creating your sales page because it's the same concept. So over here on the right, we have various preferences. So here we can turn various items on and off on our letter. For instance, if we know we don't want a header image, we can turn that off, and the header image will go away. If we know we won't be having testimonials, we can turn that off as well. And let's turn it back on. Here is a testimonial. We also have some further down. If we were to turn that off, the testimonials would go away. And then there's bonuses. So down here at the bottom, we have our bonuses listed. If we know we don't want bonuses, we can turn those off as well. Same with footer links. And then there's a video block here in case you'd like to have a video at the top of your sales letter. You can turn that off as well. I recommend just leaving everything on for now, because even though you may not have testimonials right now, even though you may not have a video now, you may want to add those things later, and you can always make modifications in the Final Touches tab. So I would just leave everything on at the moment. Now this field here is for your order link. If you scroll down the letter, there are various places where the letter has a link where the customer, if he or she were to click it, potential customer, they would go to the actual ClickBank order form. So here's an example right here. Here's one. Here's another example. Here's a big button that is clickable. Here. Those are all order links. Now, the issue at this stage is you don't know exactly what your order link is because we haven't set our product up over at ClickBank yet. So you can't really do anything at this stage. Later on, after you've really absorbed this course and you understand it front to back and you've built a few websites, you may start doing things in your own order, and you may set up your product over at ClickBank, for instance, earlier in the process, and then grab that order link and come back and embed it here when you decide to create your sales letter. But that's not the order we're going in this course. So for now, just leave this blank. Okay. Down here, you can change your template if you'd like. If you click this button, you can select a different color scheme. Going down, this is the Save Progress button, which you'll want to click every so often as you go through and make changes to your letter. And let's just go through now and let's fill some of these key portions of our letter out so I can show you how this works. There's a few features here that are a little bit different from the opt-in page creator that we used earlier in the course. So let's start out with the header image. You can embed a header image at the top of your sales letter if you'd like. It's not necessary. It doesn't always improve results and improve conversions, but it can, and it adds a nice professional touch to your website and makes your sales letter look more aesthetically pleasing in many cases. So to upload a header image, I would simply click this and then click the upload button here, and then I would select my file. You either want to have a JPEG or a PNG file or a GIF file. Okay, mine's a JPEG, so I'll double click that and it will upload it. You can see, and now I'll click save and it will appear here at the top. So let's go ahead and save my progress there. Now it says Betafish tips. I had this graphic created quite a while ago when I was working on a Betafish tips website. I would ideally want to recreate it to say Betafish lovers, since that's the name of my website, but we'll just use this for now for sample purposes. Now, when you get your header graphic created, what you would do is approach your graphic designer, let them know that you'd like a header graphic created, let them know what you want your title to be and what you want your subtitle to be, and then have them send you a version of the graphic in these dimensions, 750 by 130. Just let them know that and they'll know what size to send back to you. And let them know you want either a JPEG, a PNG file, or a GIF file. Either one of those three will work. Okay, and then you simply save that file on your computer and then again go back here, click on that little header area that we clicked on a few minutes ago, and you can upload your header image. Let's move down now to the body of your letter. Now, similar to the opt-in page creator, some of the text here is static, meaning you can't change it within the wizard, and some of it is changeable. So for instance, these are the is static, but this here blank one is changeable. Anything that's within brackets is changeable. So if I were to click this, I could fill in my own custom text and save it. Same down here with the headline. The headline starts out with who else wants. That's static. It's not changeable. This text, however, is. So just like with the opt-in page creator, you can modify every bit of text on your sales letter over here in the Final Touches tab. Again, the wizard is meant to enable you to create a letter very quickly with minimal time and hassle involved. So we've pre-written a lot of the text for you for your convenience. So let's fill out a few blanks just to get going here. So these are the blank secrets blank want you to know. Okay, let's craft this into something custom. So these are the blank one. So what is the topic of your niche? So let's go with the orchid care niche for now, just to show you how you can apply this sales letter template to a different niche besides Betafish. This sales letter template, as I've mentioned before, this template that you're working with is a very strong sales letter. We've used it across literally hundreds of different niches, and it's a proven winner. So you're working with the great sales letter here. You just need to adapt it for your specific niche. So what is the topic of your niche? These are the orchid care secrets. So if I save this, it will say, these are the orchid care secrets blank want you to know. And so what you're saying is, so if this were Betafish, we would have said, these are the Betafish secrets pet stores don't want you to know. So we'll go ahead and say, I don't know, flower shops don't want you to know. Okay, so what this headline is saying is that basically these flower shops want to make money from you. They want to sell you orchids. They don't want you to be successful growing your own. We're kind of giving that, it's a little bit dramatic, I'll admit, but it works. This kind of top headline structure works. Now, this headline structure won't work for every niche, but it works for a lot of niches. If it doesn't work for your niche, you can always remove it in the Final Touches tab or modify it to work for you. Who else wants to blank 3? Okay, so this is where you want to create a compelling headline that gets your visitors to read your entire letter. Now, in the opt-in page creator demo that we did earlier in the course, we talked a bit about copywriting and how to craft strong bullet points and how to craft strong headlines. And in that training, I referred you to one of my favorite resources for learning great copy, which is copyblogger.com. So you can go to Copyblogger and create a free account and get access to a lot of great information on copywriting and how to become a strong copywriter. So again, you don't need to practice copywriting a lot to become proficient and to make a lot of money online, but it helps to know the nuts and bolts. And if you know the nuts and bolts, and there's only a few of them, then you can do very, very well. So going here to Copyblogger, what I wanted to point out is there's a few ebooks that will help you. And you don't have to read these. They're by no means required reading, but I'm pointing them out as helpful resources that you might want to take some time reading, because it will just help things click and it will help things sink in, and it will just help you moving forward. But it's not required, and I've seen many people come through in PC and be successful without learning copywriting. So one ebook that I'd like to refer you to, though, and let's go back so I can show you how to get there, is I'm within Copyblogger right now, and this is what you'll see when you open your own Copyblogger account. Oops, it's logged me out, or it's taken me somewhere I don't want to go. There we go. So this is what you'll see, and if you scroll down, now there's a lot of content in here. There's ebooks and seminars and webinars and forums and blog posts galore, but I'd like to refer you right now to ebooks. These are free ebooks that you can download and read, and they're very high quality. So here's one, Internet Marketing for Smart People, 10 Rock Solid Elements of Effective Online Marketing. Copywriting 101, this is one that I recommend that you read in your spare time. Another book that I recommend that you read in your spare time is The Copywriter's Handbook by Bob Bly. A very respected resource on copywriting and very well written, and makes copywriting simplified. So that's something that you can read in your spare time if you'd like. The other one is Copywriting 101. If we were to click this, scroll down and click download, I did it earlier, it would open this book in PDF and you can read through it. Again, this is another manual that makes copywriting very simple, and you may even find it enjoyable because it's going to help you in your online marketing endeavors anyway. So you can look at those if you'd like. Now, there's one other book, I think, here within Copyblogger that I'd like to point out that I think I saw earlier. Let's go to page 2. How to Write Magnetic Headlines. So I talked about this ebook in the Opt-in Page Creator software demo earlier in the course. You may want to go back and look at this ebook again and just brush up on how to write magnetic headlines, and then come back and apply that to this page here within the wizard. Okay, again, your choice. So let's write an orchid care headline here. Now, remember as you're going through and creating your letter that the purpose of your letter is to sell your ebook. So keep that in mind. That's the product that we're selling here. I'm just going to write a very simple headline for now so that we can proceed with this demo. So who else wants to learn the secrets to growing beautiful orchids? We'll just go like that and click save. So there's our headline. At last, everything you've ever wanted to know about growing amazing orchids revealed. Okay, so far so good. Pretty straightforward. Again, this is exactly what we did when creating our opt-in page. Now, next, I want to point out you have the option here of launching your website either under your own name or under a pen name. And that's something that you need to decide for yourself, because here it's saying from, and this is where you should be putting the name of the person who's coming across on the sales letter. So again, you can use your own or a pen name, and it's perfectly legal, it's perfectly ethical. There's no issues with using a pen name. Famous authors do it all the time. So feel free to do that if you'd like to use a different name or different identity for your website. Just make sure that you're consistent, that your sales letter lists the same name and your opt-in page lists the same name. If your opt-in page has a space for that to put the name, it depends on which template you chose. And be consistent as well in your email mini course. You want to be signing at the bottom of each email, of course, the same name that's on your opt-in page in your sales letter. So just be consistent. Now we'll skip some of these blanks because many of them are very self-explanatory. Again, it's just a matter of clicking the blank itself and following the instructions on the pop-up and referring to the example if you need to refer to that. Let's scroll down now, and I want to point out how the testimonials box works. If you were to click on this, you could write a custom testimonial, put the name of the testimonial provider, location of where they're located, and then you can upload a photo of that person. So that's how the testimonial pop-up works. At this stage in the game, you're not going to have testimonials because you haven't even launched your product yet. One way, however, to get testimonials early is to start giving your ebook away. You should have your ebook created by now. Start giving it away to friends and family and asking for their testimonials. So they can send those back to you, and then you can craft them right now. You can add them to your letter. Now, even if you don't have testimonials right now, just leave this box because you can go back and add them at a later date. So I would recommend leaving this box. Now here, this is where it starts. Now you can see this letter is in the first person. So, and some portions of the letter talk about your background within the niche. So for instance, what most people don't realize is that blank is extremely easy to do. So let's put growing orchids is extremely easy to do. I know because I've been blank for over blank years. So now you have a choice here. You can either be the expert or you can be an enthusiast. Those are two different ways of approaching the niche and approaching your audience, both of which tend to be equally effective. So you can either position yourself as an expert. You can say, I've been growing amazing orchids for over 25 years. And that's pretty much what I did with the betta fish niche, because I truly am a betta fish expert. I've owned betta fish for a long time, and it truly turned into a hobby that I enjoyed. So I took that and I translated it into my letter. However, you can also say something like, if you don't want to position yourself as an expert, or if you're not an expert, you can say, I've been enthusiastic. I've been an orchid enthusiast. Use that word enthusiast for over 2 years or 3 years or however long you've had any sort of interest, provided you do have interest in the niche. Now, if you don't have any interest in the niche and you don't feel comfortable with a headline or a subheadline like this, you can always change it over here in the final touches area. Okay, so those are two ways to approach it. And in that time, I've developed a foolproof formula for growing beautiful orchids. And it's true, whether or not you're an expert or not, you did develop a foolproof formula. You either wrote the ebook yourself, or you went out and hired an expert, or at least hired an author, a writer, to write the ebook, and that author was taking information from reputable, solid sources. So you ended up with a product that really is a foolproof formula, and it was you who developed it. So scrolling down a little bit, there's the rest of this section here that we're scrolling through is self-explanatory. Here's a testimonial. Here's where you write your bullets. We talked a lot about how to write great bullet points in the Opt-in Page Creator demo that we did earlier in the course. Now just keep in mind as you're writing your bullet points that these are meant to sell your ebook. So this is a good time to maybe open your ebook up, read through it, become familiar with the content again, so that you can go back and you pull out the gems, pull out the highlights of your book, and then craft those into bullet points. Here is your bonus area. So this is where, now you'll recall that earlier in this course, in the product creation module, we had our bonuses created. If you didn't, it was optional though. If you didn't have any bonuses created, you could always turn this off over here. If we turn that off, you'll see that our bonuses go away. Or you can leave it on and you can maybe go back and add bonuses later. Or you can add your bonuses now. And doing so is just a matter of clicking. And then you list the number of bonuses you have. We have 2 placeholders here, but if you click, maybe you have 4 bonuses. So you can see that more boxes showed up when I did that. And then you can edit each bonus. So edit, and then it takes you in. You can fill out the bonus name. So Orchid Growing Cheat Sheet. Let's call it that, cheat sheet. Here's where you can upload the actual image of the bonus itself that you had your graphic designer create. It's always good to put a value on the bonus. It helps with sales to do that. So let's save this and we'll see how it looks. So Orchid Growing Cheat Sheet, $17. Let's actually put $17 value. Yours free. That's always a good idea. Okay. So Orchid Growing Cheat Sheet, $17 value, yours free. It's always good to put a value like that because it just increases the perceived value of the bonus. So always put a dollar value like that. Make sure to make use of that feature. And that's how you create your bonuses here on the sales page. Now, here is where this is an order link. And again, you have the option, if you know your order link already, you can put it in up here. But if you've just been following along on this course thus far, you won't know your order link yet. So you don't need to worry about modifying those links for now. We'll do that in the final touches section. And then here's the money back guarantee. Now in the future, we will make this clickable so that you can click it and modify it from here. But for now, you'll need to modify it in the final touches tab. And then scrolling down, that's about it. This button, we'll link it up later. That's about it. Other than that, there's your footer here. Now actually, let's talk about the bottom here. It says the introductory low price of, so you want to start thinking about a product price at this stage, but you don't have to land on your product price yet. And we'll talk about pricing your product later on in the course. So for now, you can just put whatever you like. Common ebook prices really range from $9.99 to $14.77 to $19.95 to $24.95 to $27. These are some common prices. You'll notice a lot of sevens in there. The number 7 it's reputed to be a magic number in the internet marketing world. So a lot of products are priced with 27, like $17, $27, $37, $47. You'll see that a lot because there's some psychological principle behind the number 7. So a lot of my ebooks I price at $14.77, and that's a good solid price that converts well. So you can put that in there for now. You may want to go back and change it though, and I'll talk later about how to price your product properly. You want to price your products differently depending on the niche you're going into. This book sells offline for nearly, and then you want to put in a price that's higher than your original price. So it sells offline for, let's say, $19.95. Okay. And one thing you might want to do is sell a copy to a friend or family for $20 for the offline price. Print it out, sell it to them. That way, when you state this, you are stating something that's factual. Once I've completed my market test, I know I'll be raising the price. So if you're at all interested, you should buy now to save, and then they're saving $5 in this case. So make sure the math works out between those 3 prices, but you don't have to nail this down now in the wizard. You can always change this later. Last but not least is your footer. Again, just like with the opt-in page wizard, I recommend putting something in your footer for now, just so you have a footer. I don't recommend not having a footer on your sales page. It's a good idea to have one. So let's add a few, just placeholder links for now. Placeholder 1, URL, put in betafishlovers.com. We'll just put that in for now. Let's add 2 links just so we have 2, and then save that. And later on, we're going to modify this footer and actually put the correct footer in. So we'll go up now, we'll save our progress. And now we're ready to proceed to step 3. At this stage, however, you're finished with your letter. So we're not going to proceed to step 3 just yet. The letter at this stage is done, provided that you filled out all the blanks. You're finished at this stage. And the final touches tab will reserve for a future video in this course. So that's it for now. Go ahead and move on to the next module.